pretty much. So
Literally.
Jax locked in. Gwen would be not too surprising of a counter here. It's more AP carry focus. Jax can sometimes struggle because you're not able to block as many of the auto attacks. Gwen oftentimes will just use the ult during that animation. And the Vladimir on top of it, so doubling down on AP damage threats.
Definitely, yes. It's the first time seeing Vladimir for myself in competitive, to be fair. So really interesting to see how haters bring the Vladdy to the Rift. It's going to be really interesting to see that. Gwen could possibly be the Baron lane, or as we know, can be flexed into the jungle. She doesn't get played jungle much right now in Wild Rift. But I'm pretty sure we can safely say that the Jax is in the Baron lane, and then Varus will be down in that bot lane as well. Vladimir more than likely going to be in the mid.
Now, I have not been playing an abundance of Wild Rift top lane games as of recent, at least not in high elo. But I can imagine Vladimir being a counter into the Jax as well. So I'm not going to count out that Gwen jungle with Vladimir even going into that top lane. Whenever Jax goes for the afterstrike, you can just go into your pool, just avoid a lot of the all-in potential of that Jax. And there's not much Jax can do. Like, he's trying to get on top of you, and that's Vladimir's dream. It's like he wants people to jump on top of him because then he gets to spread out his Hemo Plague, he gets to do more damage and just drain tank through the fights. And a Galio on top. Now, this is triple AP. And if I'm on blue side, I'm starting to look at tank options here. Who can stack magic resist? Because you're going to get a lot of value out of that in this game.
Yeah, definitely. We see the Corki come through for Night Slayers there. More than likely, we're going to see the Corki in that mid lane. But yeah, Galio is a great pick. We used to love to see him in Mild Rift. He has taken a little bit of a backseat in EU, unless it's one of the top 2 teams playing the Galio. Obviously, we generally see the Galio come through when Camille slips through that net with the first banning phase out of the way, because that synergy between those 2 ultimates are really good within Wild Rift right now. But we do see the Ziggs and the Vi bans also. Ziggs, as we know, is pretty popular as an APC down in the bot lane, so we've seen that getting taken off the cards because we saw it yesterday on Mo Lever's match. Ziggs in that matchup was just absolutely phenomenal. The damage at the end, as we all know, Ziggs is infamous for that massive damage pool towards the end of the match.
Yeah, he can be tough to deal with if you have a low-range composition. They don't have a low-range composition, though. They do have the Varus with the Corki, so maybe they could have handled it. Also would have been a 4th AP pick, but instead it's Xin Zhao locked in here. So we will actually get an AD damage threat now. I'm expecting, whether the Vladimir goes top or mid, that the other solo laner, or I guess they do need a bot laner now. I guess we are kind of seeing things. It's not going to be the Gwen jungle anymore. But either way, as they lock in their final pick, it's Alistar and Volibear. Now, these are 2 champions that can stack health, can stack that magic resist. So this is what I was looking for. You need that front line. I think that this is actually a pretty good way to put it together.
Definitely, yeah. The Alistar is a pick that you see more often in NA than we do in the EU side of things, to be honest. But to be fair, like you say, you do want that support, and you definitely want somebody to sponge that AP damage, and he is definitely the one, especially paired in with the Proto Belt, getting into there, trying to make ends meet with that Gwen in the team fights as well. And obviously, you've got the Volibear with the ult diving over. But we do see Senna come through, so Senna ADC for the haters.
Yeah, it's going to scale pretty well. I'm seeing a lot of scaling on the red side outside of the Xin Zhao, which typically I consider more of like that kind of aggressive early to mid game. It's kind of like a bridge to get you to that late game if you want to think of it that way. But with Senna, with Gwen, with Vladimir, they will not be lacking for damage come later team fights. So that means it's up to the Night Slayers to try and speed up the pace of this game. They have big engage tools with the Corki package, with the Alistar. Even the Varus and the Volibear can help out with that too. So I think that the pressure's more on their end to actually make action happen early and often, because if they can get a lead going and then end this game quickly, that's kind of an ideal scenario for them.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. I mean, they've got a lot of utility for the side of Night Slayers, but as you say, and as you put it, they need to make it happen, because if they've got it, they need to definitely make that happen, because there's no point having like the likes of the Chains of Corruption to try and single out one of the targets on Haters' team. But I'm pretty sure haters finishing top 4 in the second qualifiers, they're going to know how to navigate that Varus and the Corki. Maybe seeing the Volibear put some pressure on and the Alistair first going in as well. We do see the Glacial Augment going on both of the supports, so that damage reduction is always handy on the support champions there, as well as the movement speed decrease. But Phase Rush going in onto the Vladimir, and we also have Phase Rush on Xin Zhao, so very interesting 2 runes there. Don't really see the Phase Rush on Xin Zhao in the jungle.
Now, it does help you stick on top of things like the Corki, who otherwise would just be able to kind of jump away with their second ability. I don't hate it, but it does feel like you're sacrificing some of that frontline tankiness. That means it's going to be more on kitchen cabinet here on the Galio. But also, this composition is less worried about having a front line. This is not really a traditional front to back. It is kind of a get to 2-3 items and then just run through everybody kind of composition. So let's see if they can actually pull it off. It would be fun to see. I am slightly favoring Night Slayers personally when I am just analyzing this draft, but I'm a little out of the meta, so I could easily be wrong here, and it is hype to see Vladimir either way. He's a very new champion to the game and can do a lot of silly stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's outplay potential, even just in like the solo rank that we're doing right now. It's when you see him use his ability where you cannot target him, it's so frustrating, but that's the whole fun of him, especially when you're playing it. I don't know, is it just me or is the game kind of lagging a little bit?
It's lagging on my end, yeah. Hopefully we're able to clean that up, or it cleans up throughout the games today. But for now, you know, this will really pressure your play-by-play ability. You know, how do you cast a game when you can only see a play every 5 seconds?
That's it. I've got to think ahead of the game. Senna almost getting caught out there after the damage over the time from the Ignite. But we now know that the Ignite from Alistair has now been put on cooldown, so they've now got to try and make another way. Yes, definitely both of the summoner spells are out of there, especially for the flash onto the center as well. But yeah, a lot of damage was done there nicely for Night Slayers in the blue side down in the Dragon lane.
Now, I'm not sure who I favor here because Alistair is kind of immobile, and if he's getting ran down, he can headbutt, he can pulverize away a Xin Zhao that's jumping on him. But without Flash, he is actually kind of vulnerable, and they're going for the gank right now.
Ooh, okay, yes. E into the team fight there from the Galio with the help of the Gwen as well. We do see the Galio gets that first blood for haters there, but they do turn it around. Volibear straight in onto the Senna, so they are not going down without a fight, Night Slayers there. They are taking an even trade in that
Yeah,
bot lane.
both of the junglers around, but we got a dive happening too.
Oh, under the turret dive, my favorite Xin Zhao. Nice.
Oh, he's got more. He's going to go for the triple.
Double
Exhaust
kill?
down.
Okay. Oh, okay, Vladimir coming around from the mid. Nice rotation, but also nice interception there from Alistair, keeping his ADC alive. What a true support player.
What happened top lane here? Apple's going to go for it. Come on, you can do this. I believe in you. You have Flash. Okay. All you need to do is Flash first, third ability, and you got it, but nah.
Yeah, he's like, nah, it's not worth the risk right now. Especially
oh, he didn't have a Sheen. If he had Sheen, then that would work, but I guess not. Never mind. Good call, Apple.
We're a bit behind on that one. But no, it's nice the fact that the Xin Zhao managed to get that double kill down in the Baron lane. That is huge for the jungle gold difference right now. 500 gold between these lanes is obviously not massive, but it's definitely where you want to be. You'd rather be ahead of the 500 rather than behind. Yeah. Which is a great thing for Night Slayers. No, haters, sorry, right now.
And I want to talk about where that gold is as well, because it was all around the action bot side, and the Xin Zhao is the one that kind of cashed in, getting 2 kills and an assist. Xin Zhao is that bridge that we were talking about to get them from that early game to the mid and late game. It's great to have this champion off the ground running, because that means that they can just kind of control the pace of the game now much more easily, as we have a 1v1 top lane.
Nicely done from the Gwen. They're actually countering the counter-strike.
Yeah. Smooth moves to get out of that one. Uses Ghost, so we'll not have that summoner spell. And we have the side of Night Slayers grouping around here. They want to fight for the Herald.
They're definitely looking to take out the Jin Zhao after getting that slick double kill down in the dual lane. They definitely want to cause him a bit of pain here. Vladimir rotating around, not knowing that the Alistair was in the bush. And we have Corki here as well. Is it going to be a bye-bye night for the Jin Zhao? It is. Oh, and the Volibear dives in under the turret, exhausting the flash from Vladimir here. He is on the run. Apex running down, but still Vladimir gets the kill onto, not Vladimir, Volibear gets the kill onto Vladimir.
That was incredible from Night Slayers right there. They commit for the dive. Herald's up in 30 seconds. They can keep pressuring, try and take the turret, maybe even get a reset off before going for the objective. Just gonna be a couple plates for now, but they got a lot of gold in their pocket for that.
Yeah, definitely. Those little bit of a turret plating right now is very handy in terms of trying to bring back that gold difference. And they have actually even Stevened out those kills. It is 3-3 now for both teams. So well played to Night Slayers in that top lane. I think that was a really good engage, a really good way of actually splitting up that team fight. To be fair to Night Slayers, they really did manage to catch off that Vladimir without having any vision in their jungle. They was pretty much going in there blind, which meant that the Alistair was able to keep the Vladimir out of that important engage that was going on in the Baron lane.
But as we catch up to live right now, we have the objectives traded here. The Herald started up by Night Slayers, and haters will get the Dragon for themselves. So stacking up Dragon, I actually think, can sometimes be more worth it. You're denying some of those stats from your opponent. It will come down to how much gold can be earned through this Herald. If they just drop it top right away, that could crack it. Gives them a big influx of gold initially, but they no longer have the Corki package, so there wouldn't be a fight angle afterwards, most likely. See what they decide to do with it. They're hovering mid right now, and there it is. Okay, so they're committing Herald to the mid lane instead of the top. I don't know if it'll actually take this turret. Oh, it does. Okay. More than enough damage. Never mind.
Yeah. It took it with ease, but yeah, we generally see that within the meta right now. They don't generally put it on the side lanes unless the side lanes are looking a little bit iffy on their side. You generally drop down in that mid lane, and it does very well, especially with putting the pressure on in the mid lane when these new objectives do come in. We see the Galio trying to get out of that team fight there, having to exhaust his ultimate just to stay alive. But yeah, back to the talk of the Dragon as well. Yeah, I think it's probably best for haters to do that, because I mean, if you give a Mountain Drake to the likes of the Volibear and the Alistair, it's going to be pretty hard. But the Corki goes down from the Gwen as well. So nicely done, Apex in the Baron lane, which should... She's recalling the... Well, to be fair, they probably could have pushed that lane and tried to get a few turret platers there to get a few gold.
Yeah, Light was feeling confident because there was a completed item against only half of an item for Apex, but that is a Gwen. And if they hit all of their abilities on you, you will go down quite fast. Apex didn't even need to use the barrier, which was also available. So big pickup there for haters. Having a solo kill onto the Gwen now, completing that first item. Gwen is a monster in a side lane. I know Jack's same can be said, but a little harder to itemize. And Gwen, if she gets ahead, can still, beat him sometimes. Oh, we got another fight, though.
With the Varus here as well. Nice little bit of center ult from across the map. We have the Volibear 3v1 straight under the turret. It was a pretty much secure kill there for Night Slayers. So well played to the Volibear. That was a very good play, straight in, managing to secure that Gwen kill. But I'm pretty sure with the Varus and the Alistair combo there, it was pretty much a secure kill regardless for Night Slayer. Not being able to...
it's cooler if you dunk them, you know? Like the big old Volibear jumping dunk. That's what we call that one. So picking up that,
they on the receiving end.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's much more fun to be the Volibear in those instances, I suppose. It's a good differentiator to make. I don't believe they've taken the turret yet, though. Surprising that is still holding. I feel like they've had 2 different waves that they could have gone for it. They're leaving it up for now, though, not looking for that gold yet. And this is what happens to Jackson sideline.
Power strike. Oh, nicely timed, though, from the Jax there. But we have Corki coming over. Is it going to be a 2v1? We do have Jin Zhao into the mix. Galio in with the grand entrance as well. Well played by Vlad there, taking out the Corki. Corki came to help his Baron laner, and then his Baron laner was just like, yo, I'm dipping. You can deal with that 3v1 on your own, my guy.
And they are just hard committing onto Apex and not able to kill this Gwen. You need the Volibear damage on top. We saw that last time around, and this time it did not work without them. So haters are right back into this game. It's been back and forth in these first 9 minutes. But it looks like haters are actually in a pretty decent position because of their soul laners being so far ahead right now. Or maybe not even ahead, just in comfortable positions, more like it.
Yeah, I mean, just to have a little bit of an update with where the team Night Slayers actually finished. They were pretty much second from last in the Qualifier 1 to get through. So to see them actually come against haters that were in the top 4 of the second qualifiers, I think is really impressive. I think they've ramped up their ability in this one as well. I'm seeing a completely different team than what I was seeing in Qualifier 1 for Night Slayers. They are definitely here with their heads on. They are all looking to try and take this victory from haters, and they're definitely trying their best, and it's paying off because they're only 1 kill behind. I can't quite make out that goal difference, but I can't imagine it is much. But we're seeing once again that 1v1 Jax Vladimir. They want the rematch.
He does. I mean, he's got the recurve bow. I imagine it will build into the wit's end so that you can deal with either of the side laners. That is the nice thing about this, is that Jax can just build magic resist and you're going to be laning against either of the AP dealers. But we have another dragon, and it looks like we got a team fight. Watch the package.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Chasing that Varus out of there. We got the Corki having to retreat down into that bot lane. Is he going to try and secure the dragon turret there for Night Slayer?
It looks like Night Slayers are struggling to know what their game plan is. Varus is not linked up with the rest of the team, so it's really dangerous to walk in.
Yeah, and Jax doing Jax things. He manages to take 2 of the turrets there up in the Baron lane, which is going to be massive for Night Slayer here. They do manage to get the second dragon for themselves. Haters does, but they are looking pretty low here. Oh, nice ult in from the Galio. He gets a kill onto the Alistair. Having that Jax out there really punished them in that team fight, but we need to see what Night Slayers can do with that Baron lane push, to be honest. Is it really
I mean,
it?
that was pretty nicely set up by haters there. Okay, well, as Lunari looks for a little bit more, gets a flash and exhaust out of light, I suppose. They get the dragon, they get a couple of kills after the fact. You are right that their top lane is exposed now, and now look at the gold the Mapple's picked up. 8,500, I believe, is what's there on the screen, versus 7,000 that Apex will be rocking, or about the same for Lunari. So the Jax suddenly is going to be able to 1v1 in these side lanes off of that play, even though they give over gold to the rest of the team.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Baron lane push was really needed there for Night Slayers. Yes, it is.
Okay, Blade of the Rune King instead of the Wit's End first. I still imagine we'll get Magic Resist eventually in this build, but instead going for more sustain, thinking that it's more important to just stay alive, hitting the waves, and I guess you do have a little bit more damage threat here.
Yeah,
I'll have to talk
I mean,
to Maple about this after the fact. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the Galio going in there with that ult, he is a chunky boy to try and take out in these team fights. So I think Blade of the Rune King right now, even though the Gwen isn't quite necessarily doing much in terms of the AP damage in the Baron lane, we did see that Jax only just about survived that 1v1 with Vlad down in the bot lane quite some time ago. So he's got the tenacity boot, so he's got a little bit of that magic resistance, but as you say, we'll probably be seeing a little bit more of that magic resistance come through at some point for your boy Jax.
And the reason I like the magic resist from a Wit's End as opposed to the Blade of the Rune King is if you're against specifically the Vladimir, you cannot guarantee that you'll be getting auto attacks off to lifesteal through the Blade of the Rune King because of the blood pool that the Vladimir has. So that's the big, like, kind of, in my mind, why I would rather go for the Wit's End. But again, there's a reason I'm here and he's there. So the player on screen is the one obviously feeling more comfortable with the build right now. And it still does give you a lot of damage. I think now you're hoping you're against the Gwen, which does seem to be the lane assignments currently. This is better case scenario because you will be able to hit that Gwen much more often.
Definitely, definitely. I'm going to just take a little peep at Corki's build here. So obviously he's gone for the mana boot. So I'm going to safely assume that he's going to build an AP item third. More than likely going to be that Rift Maker. We do see it happen quite a lot on these Corkis recently. So especially within EU, I'm pretty sure I've seen it within NA as well. And it does work really well with his kits. We've got the Alistair and Corki here looking at a possible 3v2. Jinzhao is in there onto the Galio. Or, I mean, not the Galio, sorry, the Alistair, as the Corki was trying to do some damage from the backline, but they managed to secure the turret, but didn't actually get any kills there. I'm not too sure if they're going to manage all recalls. Okay, so Vlad is still in the thick of it.
This is... Oh, he's out! Let's go!
Nope.
Something happened on the other side of the map, though.
Yeah, we saw that the Gwen went down and Jax went down as well. So a 1-1 trade on the other half of the map where we were not spectating, unfortunately, but we wanted to see what was going to happen. Were they actually going to get out with the recall? And they all managed to do so. So fair play to haters there. Infernal Drake is up soon. So will we see a hat trick for the Dragons for haters, or will we see Night Slayers actually try and contest this third camp? Because as I've been seeing in EU matches, when they generally get those 3 dragons, it's kind of hard to come back for the enemy team unless you get a solid team fight and you manage to take out maybe 4 of the members towards maybe like the Elder Spawn or even the Baron Nashor, and then trying to push one of these lanes. And if it was to happen right now, we don't really see that lane push for Night Slayers as of yet. They've got a few minions down in the bot lane. They've got that completely dominated Baron lane, but the minions are definitely not where they need to be.
We got the big engage.
Of a Baron Nashor, but here we go. Engage here. Volibear having to ult out to get out of the team fighter there. Senna with the massive ult in with a shield, but somebody is looking like they've status there. Oh, no. There we go. So Jinzhao goes down. It is a 1-1 trade. Vlad taking out the Alistair here. We get Corki with a nice rocket taking out the Vlad. Are we just catching up here? Is anyone else going to go down? The Galio is looking pretty low. So is Jax as well. Varus trying to get that snipe damage onto the Gwen, but didn't quite manage to get it.
That was the ideal team fight for a Corki and a Varus. Everybody focused the Volibear, and then everybody focused the Alistair, and we're still going.
Oh, yep, we are still going. We have some blue and red presence at the Infernal Drake. Blue side looking pretty low here. The Alistair does go down. The Jax went down. Alistair was already down. He's just respawned. Can he get into... Oh my god, that damage though on Varus to the Senna. We've seen quite a few low champions here. Varus is still not quite done. He wants Galio out. He takes Galio down for his boy Jax there. So overall, a 2-1 trade for haters. They do come out on top of that engage and interaction more positively so than Night Slayers, and it looks like they may possibly get this third dragon that we were hoping.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to matter for Night Slayers here. I mean, they tried their best to push them off. They've won fight after fight. I actually would say they were an advantage for the last 2, but it's not going to matter. They're still pushed off dragon again.
Yep, we got the Gwen going in with that ult. 2 of blue team pretty low, while Jinzhao is still on the camp. They managed to get the Infernal Drake, so that damage output is going to be even worse for Night Slayers now being on the receiving end. Jax flashes in onto the Vlad to go 2v1 onto Gwen as well. Corki coming in here, but his health just getting melted.
Okay, this is an insane game state that we find ourselves in here. I think haters want to deal the killing blow right here to get a couple more kills. Apple in trouble. Yeah, you can do this. Underneath the turret, don't even need a wave. They fought in the mid wave, and then even though I would say that they came out worse for that fight because Varus and Corki were able to output their damage, they got back onto the map faster, got to the dragon faster, and forced Night Slayers to come into them and just kept peeling off the dragon, going for the fight. Back to the dragon. Peel off the dragon, go for the fight, back to the dragon. Eventually it works, they get the objective, they win the fight, and now they're on the Baron. This game's pretty much over. Haters played this last 2.5 minutes exceptionally well.
Yeah, they definitely ramped up their speed in the jungle there, but I think that was the only reason they were able to bait Night Slayers into that dragon is because they already had the 2 dragons, so they had pretty much the cards on the table. There's like, yo, you have to try and take this from us, or we're gonna have 3 dragons, and you trying to finish this match is going to be much harder than us trying to just contest this third dragon, because we've got 2, you've got 1, the Elder Dragon's up. Will we see a steal for the Elder Dragon? We've actually not seen any of the jungle camps be stolen from either of the teams. So I think this is the time, if you want to try and make Smite diff on the side of Night Slayers, it is right now you want to try and make that happen.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I don't think we're gonna get to that point. I think that we could actually just go for a team fight at end of the game with the Baron buff. I expect that is what haters should be paying attention to. We've reached their 2 to 3 item power spikes on all their key carries. It's only Gwen that's slightly behind, but look at Vladimir. Like, he could probably 1v5 at this point with this build. They're never gonna catch him, and his damage is gonna be insane. So let's see if it actually comes to that. No, okay, maybe I was wrong. Haters are actually looking at the Elder Dragon. But no, they peel off it. I mean, they've done this so many times. They're so comfortable using it as a magnet to pull the opponent in, and then boom, they pounce on you and catch you when you're not aware.
Yeah, we saw Varus with that last little bit of hope in his eye. We get a triple kill from Vlad. Can we get a quad, please? Oh, did he get it? Did he get it? Ah, JAMCo, come on, man, denying your team. Oh, no, he gets the quad. Okay, wait.
That was a denied pentakill. Come on, what are you doing?
But there we go. We see the Nexus go down, and Haters takes the first match out of the best of 3. So well played to Haters.
Yeah, I mean, the comfortability of haters to start objectives and then as a team say, no, we're off. We're just using it as a distraction, as a magnet to pull the opponents in. And Night Slayers were not as coordinated around approaching those objectives. We saw often their AD carry on the Varus not being with the team. That happened about 2 times. And then even when they were able to set up their established front to backs, we saw them shred. The Corki and the Varus did their job. They did damage. And I was very impressed with Varus's teamfight ability in that game. But they were also sometimes just kind of walking in conga line one at a time and then just dying. And then as the dominoes fall, we see what happens at the end of the game there. 3 dragons, Baron, Elder Dragon, and that game is over.
Yep, that's it. And we are going to go over to our analyst. As we know, we got a lot of simps in the chat for him yesterday. It is none other than Mr. Blazekin. Let's have your analyst rundown, mate.
Yeah, thanks for handing it off to me, Blam. So this game was a pretty interesting one, actually. I think that overall, in terms of like micro fights, it wasn't actually that bad. However, I think the macro was played out pretty poorly. So if we go back to the beginning of that game, right, we think about the early Alistar top level 1. It doesn't really make a ton of sense. What were you guys thinking about that?
So I did notice, we didn't get to talk about it on cast, but the Galio and Senna were able to push in. I believe they only got 1 plate for the push, if my memory serves, but they did get a gold lead for that, despite the fact that a couple kills went over to Night Slayer's top side. I think that I would have liked it more because they get the Herald shortly after. If they commit the Herald top and try and play through the Jax a little bit more, I felt like they weren't playing to the Jax side lane nearly as much as I wanted to. Or at least I would want to play a Jax side lane if I'm in that Jax's position.
I really agree with that,
totally.
and that's why I think that they kind of messed up on the side lanes, right? Because I think Blam was actually talking about it, how they had that Vlad into that Jax. I think it's better if you have that going into the Gwen. What do you think about that, Blam?
Yeah, you want the Jax matchup into the Gwen, I would say for sure. Oh, sorry, that was to Blam. There you go.
No, yeah, to be fair, I think we're pretty much at the same sort of consensus between who would rather go against who, between the Jax and the Vlad, or the Vlad and the Jax or the Gwen. I think the matchup would probably be a lot more easier going into the Gwen. As we saw, there was a few times where Vlad actually failed to take out the Jax as well, so I think that was probably just